Welcome to Louisiana Heart Beats. I'm Sudie Landry, and I'm the host today. And with me is my guest, Bob Bienvenu. Bob is a man of many talents, wears many hats, and we've had him on the show before. But since the last show, Bob has cranked out about 3 books. He is an established author now. He's a weightlifting champion. He's a television producer. But most of all, he just loves being busy and creating stories. We're going to go back to welcome you to the show. Thank you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Sue.
I'm
glad to be here.
Well, Bob, let's let the people know you have 3 books right here in front of us.
Yeah, they're all on Amazon and Create Space right
So
now.
if anybody is interested, they can always shoot you an email that you will be checking on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about, for those of you, authors usually kind of work on one book at a time. Well, that's normal. But then Bob, as soon as he gets through with one, he starts on another, and before you know it, he has created many books. But now we're going to get into the stages of him being able to promote his books. But we want to talk about the first book. The first book is From Light to Darkness to Glory. That's the yellow book that you see on your screen. Bob, why did you write this book?
Well, it goes with my story, you know. First of all, it's an autobiography of my life. Growing up in the 50s and 60s as a kid, my dad was a pharmacist, we were upper middle class. Life back then was a joy. It was absolutely heaven to be a kid back then, especially a little boy growing up in middle class America. We'd ride our bikes all over the town. It was a small town of St. Martinville. We had a blast, you know. And then, so it's called From Light to Darkness to Glory, and I'll tell you why I wrote it, but the darkness part was when I got drafted into the service, had a nervous breakdown, and was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and I went through hard times after that, really hard times, especially when you deal with schizophrenia. It's one of the worst of all the mental illnesses to deal with, and I still deal with it. But now I have a life, you know. I'm in recovery. But anyway, and then Glory, when my friend Mike Fuseli, he's a council member in St. Martinville, took me under his wing and led me to the Lord 25 years ago. And I've never looked, and it's been an adventure ever since. So, you you have to know what schizophrenia is. It is a heinous illness, you know. Where it zaps your energy. You go through depression. People don't understand where you're coming from, and the rejection is immense. The fear is immense. And this guy, Mike, led me and started me on a new life.
I want to add something to this. First of all, Bob sitting here is a good example that it doesn't matter what issues of illness you may have in your life, you can become somebody, and you can be the person that you desire to be respected. You are an example that when you put your mind to it and you have God in your life,
yes,
with God all things are possible. It's not an easy life, but you don't give up. You have hope.
That's right.
And I can say I have read this book, and I can tell you that just what little bit he just told you, he takes you and he tells you the truth, and it gets a little raw at times, but it's very educational through knowing, and then later I learned to respect that illness and know that it is possible to function, even though a lot of people use it as an excuse and not function.
Yeah, with it, the reason for my success with it, besides taking my medication, seeing my psychiatrist, going to my therapist, who is Dr. Lynn Arch, great guy, and also going to support group with NAMI, run by Denver Nobles and Emily Welch, and Rosalind Nobles. Besides that, when I latched on to Jesus Christ, you know, it's like the sky's the limit, and it is awesome to help you with a mental illness. You know, it'll aid it tremendously, and it can give you a new outlook at life, a new attitude, and a new life, you know.
Well, I want to also tell you, Bob, that from page 1 to the very last page, it keeps the reader wondering how in the world did this man, something had to be there, so maybe maybe there's something to this God he's talking about.
Maybe there's something to
you
this
know?
God, yes.
Okay, well, let me move on right now briefly to the next book that we see, which is the tall one with hands holding up.
Praying, holding the brain.
And holding the brain. My, why that picture?
Well, my editor, the lovely and beautiful Linda Moe, is also an artist, and she not the first book, but the two books you see right here.
We're going to talk about her.
She did that, and she gave some great illustrations. And this book right here that I wrote, Mental Illness, God, and Healing. That's the second book I wrote, and it shows that if you have a mental illness and you get into a relationship and get into the spiritual aspects of dealing with your illness, it will greatly enhance it. You know, you can't go wrong. You know, it might not cure you. You know, most of us in South Louisiana believe there's a God. And you know, God heals some people. He doesn't heal everybody. He hasn't healed me, but He has given me a life, and He's given me the talent to write this book. That if you follow the spiritual aspects of life, and we all live this life, you know, and we're all connected and everything. And if you follow God, it will greatly enhance your condition.
Okay, Bob, so inside of this book, give us a little glimpse. Did you put down some maybe helpful resources, or did you put down scriptures that people could follow, or did you more or less just share how the Lord has helped you get through all of this in this book, number 2, Mental Illness, God, and Healing?
Well, first of all, I started with history. You know, I researched it, and I gave the history of mental illness from the ancient times till the 21st century, you know, and how far treating mental illness has advanced. You know?
Guess what? That's not a norm. Not a lot of people like me would not even know that. That is interesting information that someone like me would want to know about. Oh, wow, you're tracking it way back to now.
Yeah, I mean, back then the mentally ill were thrown in the streets, you know, and thrown in prisons, you know, where they didn't even sleep in a bed. They slept on straw on the floor, you know, and didn't see anybody, and were given food. Some of them, you know.
Okay, well, I know that
okay.
different people have seen you on television talking before about your book. Bob also has a television program with the Acadiana Open Channel, and it's called Insight into Mental Health, and he has guests of his own that comes on. Yeah. And I understand that it's going to be playing every Thursday night now.
Yeah,
at 8 o'clock.
Starting next month.
On Channel 15, Cox Cable. So there he gives out helpful resource information. He talks about different things, and sometimes the guests on his show share their illnesses and their help that they're getting. Okay, so I wanted people to know that before we slide into the last of the books. We have still a lot to say.
Okay.
The first 2 books are really from light to darkness to glory. Of course, that is, you know, you sharing God, helping you get through your personal testimony. And on book number 2, Mental Illness, God, and Healing, you're sharing all the resources and how it came about in order for people to be able to get help. Sliding into The Time Traveler, which is a totally different genre of writing. The others were true, and yet here we've got, all of a sudden, everybody, anyone that's read his other books, this is a totally different story. This man, from the books that I've read of The Time Traveler, we even wondered if he was doing some plagiarism because it was that good. So that is why I'm bringing this up. Time Traveler series, he is definitely going back in time, and it's exciting because he's sharing with us. So start telling us a little bit of how the Time Traveler started. Don't give it all away, but what era does it start in, and what era? This is book number 1, right?
This is book number 1. I mean, I enjoyed writing these 2 books so much that, like in life, we all have talents and abilities. And it took me till I was 63 to to learn that I had the talent for writing, because everybody says I write well, you know. They say it's an easy writing style and that I have a good imagination. So after these two books, and this is this year, I thought I'd write something, and I didn't know what I was going to write. I was going to write a Christian book, you know, about spirituality and demons and angels fighting. And then I thought, let me write a science fiction. And I've read science fiction all my life. I saw Star Trek, Star Wars. I've read H.G. Wells, Jules Verne as a kid. So I thought I'd try it, and I did, you know. And it's about a time travel into the past where this young guy, Jared Bork, whose dad is a physics professor, gets killed in a car wreck after he builds a time machine, and Jared finds out about the time machine, and he and his girlfriend Susan, and I named his girlfriend Susan because that's the first girlfriend I ever had, you know, and they go back in time, you know, they go back in time to Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci. They see Leonardo da Vinci, and he even paints a picture of Susan, which they say is better than the Mona Lisa, you know. And they go back to Queen Elizabeth's time in 1559 for a coronation, you know. And they actually get married in Queen Elizabeth's time, you know. And eventually they'll get married again in the 20th century. But, you know, that's part of the story, you know, of time travel back in time. And also it's a scenario where they meet aliens who are watchers of the galaxy, and they get in contact and are on a friendly basis with them. And, you know, they also have an odyssey that I talk about to save the world, to save the planet Earth, but I won't go into it. But I think it is an adventure. It has adventure. It has a love story. It has intrigue. It has, I give a lot of history of the places they go to, and build the different characters in it. I think I'm really proud of it.
Well, I want to add something to this again. First of all, that is not the kind of books I usually read, but because I am your friend and you asked me to read the book, I was amazed that I actually was interested and I actually liked it. And then when I got to the last page that you had given me, which was not the complete book, I go, oh no. And I haven't got the ending of that book yet. So that's pretty good. I need to get the book. But anyway, this is what's going on. I'm also the president of the Writers Guild of Acadiana, and I love showcasing authors, and especially local authors, and the talents that we have here is amazing. And in the process of always listening to a person who has views and dreams and they want to put it down in print, I even cannot remember exactly why, but all of a sudden I hear Bob wants to write a book, and so from there on I was going to do whatever I could to encourage. And the reason I wanted to say that was the fact that the first book, you know, it was really hard to edit.
Yeah.
I know the editor, okay? The second book, she didn't have any trouble. The third book, she was actually interested in the stories itself. And so now, from what I understand, you've brought her on as not only your editor of your future stories, Linda Moe, who's locally an artist.
Lady.
She's also cranking out her own book, too, that's going to hit the shelves in January, Linda Moe. And at this time, she's also now known as far as different styles of art, and she's the one that created the artwork on that tall book that you see on the screen.
And this one too.
Okay, and also the Time Traveler. So she is getting really active, and Bob's using her in so many ways, which makes it wonderful. Now let's go back to the Time Traveler. Okay, this is book number 1, and you have book number 2 already?
The book number 2 is already completed, and I have it with my editor. Linda Moe is editing it right now. And that should be out maybe after the 4th month of next year, you know. We're not putting them all out, you know, at one time. We want to get people interested. And right now I'm working on the 3rd book of the trilogy. And that should be done in about 4 or 5 months. That should be finished. And then after that, I'm going to write a Christian book, you know. Kind of like Frank Peretti type books.
There you go.
Know?
Yes.
And I think, I think I can do it, you know. And Nellie Harrington the director, Brandon Lautier's mama, tells me she believes I can do it, and I really think I can do it, you know.
Well, I have this little situation with you, Bob. I know you can do it
Yeah.
because you are doing it.
Yeah.
But then you're cranking out your books faster than we're able to let the people out there in the world know that you got them. But anyone that's interested can check out Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Or they can send you an email for more information.
Yeah.
But also be looking for you in the future book signing events. And I will let you in on something right now on
Okay.
television that I hadn't planned on saying this, and it's amazing because I'm beginning to say that line in a lot of my shows. But I'm in the process, and doors are opening up for us to have book signings in Grand Coteau, Louisiana, LeCompte, Louisiana, and also in our area of Lafayette, Louisiana. And our goal is eventually to be able to hit all of the Barnes & Nobles.
Wow,
in the
that
state.
would be awesome.
At this time, I can't give information more than that, but that is in the process thanks to my publisher. And I'm also a now officially published author, and I'm working on my 5th book.
That's awesome.
So what's happening is it seems like, and then we have another great book that was put out too by Cherie Carlton.
Yes.
Okay, and she is I Am We, and it's an awesome book. And then she shares her life story with a person
And we will have Cherie on our show.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Cherie has a book out also. She's a local author, and she touches on the topic of what it's like to live as a person with multiple personalities. Okay, so she has a book called I Am We. Then here we are with you, already cranked out 3, working on the 4th one. I had written mine many years ago, 4 of them. And they were shelved, and now there's going to be 4 working on the 5th one.
That's
it must be the
awesome.
year. It must be the year
For authors.
for authors, I think, huh?
And I would like to say something about Sudie. You know, I met Sudie about 4 years
Yeah.
ago, and she has done immeasurable greatness for authors coming up, you know, with the Writers Guild. And she's the one that got me when she knew I was writing my book, when I was just writing it by pencil on a tablet, this book. And she was backing me up all the way and helped me get my first editor and everything. And she got me Linda Moe and also Don Mitchell.
That's right, we gotta
Don
bring him
Mitchell, who has also been a great help helping me market my book, you know. And Sudie is a God bless, godsend to me and all the authors around me. So we applaud you, Sudie.
Yay.
Thank you, girl.
Well, thank you so much for that. But I will tell you that, you know, I guess I come from a line of storytellers.
Yeah.
And I just hate a good story to go untold.
I know.
And
Thank
God has just given me that drive inside that when there's a good story, don't let it go. Don't let them lose it. And I was blessed to be a part of your trip, and also, you know, what little bit I was part of Cherie's and other people. And I'm here to say it's never too late. Look at you, my gosh. People, usually you got to push someone to do one book. I'm trying to slow him down a little bit so we can get the market out there. But the whole point is, I shelved mine in 1990, and they're just now getting published. So
That's
you write
awesome.
it. You write it, though. You write it, and then you shelve it, and then when the time comes, you either publish it or you market it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I appreciate those kind words, and we have so much talent. But now let's give credit where credit's due also. Of course, you and I give our credit to God because He's allowed this platform for us to be able to share your show, my show, other people's visions and dreams, books. And so Katie Ann Open Channel is an awesome place to be, too.
Oh yes. Ed Bowie, you know, what can I say? He's one of the most fantastic, nice guys you ever want to meet, man. He's also a war veteran, you know.
That's right.
He served our country during the Vietnam War, you know. I say kudos to Katie Ann, AOC, man, and the people over here. William McFarland, Sari, Skip, Joe, Matt,
Our crew.
our crew, Nancy, and of course Brandon Lautier and Kenneth. I don't know Kenneth.
That's right, Kenneth Franklin.
Kenneth Franklin. Yeah.
Without them, there would be no show. There would be no visual.
And I would like to give a plug for my people on my show that we're gonna be on next year on Thursdays at 8 o'clock, and that's Richard Phelps, who is my associate producer, Nellie Harrington, who is honorary associate producer and co-host, and Emily Welch, who is co-host. and of course Brandon Lantier, who is our great director, you know.
Yeah,
What
I'm
can I
really,
say?
really blessed to have a great crew here too. For people when we need extra camera work, we have Cherie Carlton, who also subs as a host. And all of these people, basically, we have united together, and we're just combined and connected in so many ways. If we're not producing the show, we're helping other people. Or if we know people like you that have written a book, we're telling everybody. We're here a community, and we connect just like it says, and we support. So going back to saying that, when it comes to the bulletin board that we make our announcements on, this is the king of the bulletin board. We have this bulletin board out there, and like he said the other day, I think half of it is just about him and his accomplishments, because you know what? He's proud of where he's come from to what he's doing. I think we have weightlifting pictures, we have author pictures, we have newspaper, award pictures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what? There's got to be something to this. With God, all things are possible. You're able to do stuff that a lot of people say you can't do with that kind of illness that you have.
Well, I would
Your
say
writing.
my writing.
Yeah.
I would say with my medicine, I always say this. I said it in this book. With my medication that I take all the time, with my psychiatrist filling my medication, and my therapist, and my friends to talk to, and my group therapy with the NAMI group led by Denver Nobles. If I didn't have God and had all that, I might be living in a halfway house right now, you know.
Well, you know, I read something interesting in one of your books. You even lived in a tent for a while.
I lived in a tent for
You're
a while.
not living in a tent now.
No, I'm not living in a tent.
But
no.
you were grateful for that tent when you had to live in it,
I
right?
was grateful for that tent, and now I'm retired thanks to the VA, and I don't have to work hard, and I can devote my time to writing. And then I would like to say, if you're out there and you're wondering what you can do, try, you know, like journaling. It's already in statistics that you feel better, and it'll heal you with problems by journaling. It's already statistically proven, you know. It'll help with your self-esteem. It'll also help with your physical health, you know. And it is a joy to write, man. You know, I found my niche. You know, I've never been good with romance. You know, that fell away years ago. But when it comes to writing, you know, and if there are people out there with hidden talents, and just try it out.
That's
you
right.
know, that's all you can do. Just try. You know.
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking about some of the portions of the book without giving the whole book away. But I mean, just the different areas that you visited, say in book number 1, when you were sharing your testimony. Oh my gosh, I mean, that brought back memories of some of the days. I mean, we're talking Woodstock days,
Yeah.
we're talking all those days.
Pop
festival,
marijuana,
all the stuff that we shouldn't be involved in. And then you take us from there to another book, which is True Story, and us saying, okay, this is how I'm dealing with my illness. And then all of a sudden you're set free. And ever since you have started writing this fiction and
Yeah.
these time travel series, you're a totally different writer,
Yeah.
which is good.
you know, I
You
don't
got
know.
all the garbage out, now you're really creating.
I don't know how I did it. I just started thinking, and I just sat down at the typewriter, and thoughts came, and ideas and scenarios all came into my mind, and for some reason, and not God help, I put it all together, you know, into books, and people like it, you know.
That's it. So have you got anything scheduled at this time, as far as you know, as far as book signing events?
No, nothing yet.
Okay, well, we're getting to the end of the show, and I'm going to go ahead and close out, but I want to make the announcement to Acadiana that there will be book signings in the future, and he is one of the authors, along with Cherie Carlton and other people that will be at these book events, and we will let you know through Facebook. But meanwhile, thank you so much for watching our show today, and with us was author Bob Bienvenu of 3 books that made it again. And we appreciate it. And if you know someone who'd love to come on and share with us their talents and their visions, or even your dreams, then this is the place to be. Let us know. Let us hear from you. Otherwise, we are on every Monday night at 9 o'clock.
Awesome, sure. Awesome. is yours.
Thank you.